Tonight, flowers lining the front sidewalk outside the home of Reverend Jesse Jackson in Chicago. The civil rights icon and South Carolina native spent decades fighting for voting rights and for equal opportunity. Now, throughout the next 90 minutes, we're going to share the impact that Jackson had in the Carolinas, from his childhood to the legacy he leaves for future generations. I'm Erica Bryant.
I'm Evan Donovan. In 30 minutes, we'll be joined by Charlotte's first black mayor, Harvey Gantt, who took office here as Jackson ran for president.
We want to begin tonight with how Jackson worked his way to earning the title of Martin Luther King Jr.'s protege.
Jesse Jackson's lifelong fight for equality was known the world over, but his story began in the Carolinas.
I was born in Greenville, South Carolina, in rampant, radical racial segregation. Had to be taught to go to the back of the bus or be arrested.
Jackson attended college at North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro. At that time, 4 A&T students had already started their sit-ins at a segregated lunch counter. The Greensboro Fours movement would spread across the South as Jackson grew into a campus leader. He was student government president and quarterback of the Aggie football team.
If someone like him can come from A&T and do great works all over the place, it's encouraging that there's still hope for people like me.
His work would eventually connect him to Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Jackson was at the Memphis Hotel the night in 1968 when Dr. King was assassinated.
I learned so much from him. Such a great source of inspiration.
3 years later, Jackson founded what became the Rainbow Push Coalition, a civil rights organization that he led for more than 50 years. And he ran for president twice, in 1984 and 88. Jackson would also deal with scandal and controversy. During his first presidential run, he apologized after using a slur to describe Jewish people. And in 2001, he acknowledged having a child outside of his marriage with a former staffer from his nonprofit. Jackson stayed involved in politics and continued his visits to the Carolinas. In 2015, after South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley ordered the state to remove the Confederate flag, and in 2016 to support Secretary Hillary Clinton's run for president. Jackson's final fight was against a rare neurological disease that's often mistaken for Parkinson's disease. He was diagnosed in 2017, but made public appearances through 2024.
We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive.
Reverend Jackson started his push for civil rights in his hometown of Greenville, South Carolina, and he was part of what's called the Greenville Eight, a group of young people who helped to desegregate the Greenville library system.
South Carolina reporter Tina Terry sat down with one of them, and Tina, she talked all about Jackson's early life.
Yeah, she did. Doris D.D. Wright lives here in Salisbury, but she grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, next to a young Jesse Jackson. They went to school together, and they took part in a protest that they did not know would become a part of history.
Growing up poor but loved, we never knew that we were poor because we made a way in the religious term, we made a way out of no way.
Doris D.D. Wright has lived her life making a way where there seemed to be none.
We had parents who loved us, and I'm sure that we used to scare them a lot because I was arrested maybe 5 or 6 times.
This is a now famous mugshot from one of those arrests in 1960, after she and 7 other young people tried to use the whites-only library. She says the protest wasn't planned, but developed naturally when a young Jesse Jackson needed to do some research for a homework assignment.
We marched to the library, and of course they had a knack for shutting the lights off. That meant the library was closed. So we left, and our advisor, who's the Reverend James Hall, who still lives, as a matter of fact, he's in Philadelphia, he said, that's not why I sent you there. We want to make sure that you can use that library that your parents are paying taxes on. So we went back. And when we went back, they arrested us.
This picture shows the young people, now called the Greenville Eight, at the Greenville County Jail. Their sacrifice led to desegregation of the Greenville library system.
And what people need to realize that the movement was carried on by the youth, because if our parents were to participate, they would lose their jobs.
She's proud of her friend Jesse Jackson, who went on to fight for civil rights on a larger stage, marching with Dr. King, impacting party politics, and becoming the first Black candidate to run a major nationally competitive campaign for president.
Jesse was a leader, and I think that he was God-chosen. I really do.
And today, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster called Jackson a native son of South Carolina and an icon of the civil rights movement. He said that he will direct flags over the Capitol to be lowered to honor Jackson's legacy and his memory. Reporting live in Salisbury, Tina Terry, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A sad day, an incredibly important icon in civil rights in this country and in this area, too. Tina, thank you.
Charlotte City Councilman and former state senator telling Channel 9 that Jackson was a mentor to him.
I always had an interest in being involved in public affairs in the community space, and he was doing it, and he was doing it at a very high level. And to watch him move and be a force of influence internationally, nationally, locally was amazing.
That was Malcolm Graham. Now, Reverend Jackson was also a support system for the families of the 9 people who were shot and killed while attending Bible study at a Charleston church. Malcolm Graham's sister was one of them. Coming up ahead tonight at 5:30, Charlotte's first Black mayor, Harvey Gantt, will join us here in the studio for a conversation about his relationship with Reverend Jesse Jackson and how they work toward the same mission. And at 6 o'clock tonight, we'll take you to Greensboro, where the Reverend Jackson made a name for himself at North Carolina A&T State University.